Another thing in my life that really helped me was assistive technology. Do you know that limited mobility means limited initiative? I was in a manual chair and I couldn't push myself, so I would have to wait for other people to come and wheel me around school. And that was really, really scary and anxiety producing, because if the guy forgot to come or forget to show up for some reason, then I would be stuck. So that was always on my mind. Then one day I got a powered wheelchair, and I found out I could go any place that I wanted to just by wanting to. And my initiative changed. And I started asking friends, hey, you want to go down to the snack bar? You want to go here, go there? Can we make plans to meet? And mobility created a world of opportunity for me and just changed the way I felt about myself, and really enabled me to take the initiative and to start doing things instead of just waiting for things to happen. I think one of the really important things growing up in a family is for the family to have this notion that this is not a disability who is a member of our family, but is really a person who just has an inability to do certain things. And in my family, that definitely was the way. I remember growing up and my mom telling me, okay, I want you to wash and wipe dishes, and I would think, what? You want me, a disabled kid, to go and wipe the dishes? Or, what is that? That's really abusive. and yet she would say, I don't care, you're gonna do it. And so I went, okay. And so I would have to stand up in my long leg braces at the sink and literally go through the dishes, wiping them, wiping the utensils, and doing that chore. Why did she make me do it? Well, because I could do it. And so that was done, and eventually, there were other responsibilities that my family, gave to me, things to do. All of them, of course, were things that I could physically do, mentally, emotionally do. And so I learned through that process about being a part of a group requires responsibility. It's just not enough. Sometimes I think being in the world of disability, we hear the term rights a lot. This is my rights. This is my civil rights. This is my right to be treated equally. I have a right to be a person. I have a right to a job. I have a right to all these things. And sometimes I think we fail to talk about the other R word, responsibility. Sure, it's great to have rights, but rights without responsibility mean nothing. And growing up in a family that gave me responsibility taught me about doing that, about taking on responsibility, about owning up to my own responsibilities. If I fail, I fail. It's my fault. Nobody else's. It's mine. Yeah? And if I succeed, it's not just mine. It's because of all the other things that I'm able to do with people. It's just amazing, I think, to have a sense of responsibility as you grow up. I just think it makes us better people. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a person whose ethnicity is Asian. I'm Japanese. And in the Japanese culture, shame is a very strong influence. Uh, and having a child with a disability tends to be very shameful. But it's just amazing to me that my parents, who were Nisei, um, basically second generation Japanese in Hawaii, um, they took me all sorts of places. How did I know this? Because it was really stressful sometimes going to some of these places. Like they would take me to Ala Moana Shopping Center, and there as a kid I would hear other kids, say really dumb things like, "Oh, you look like an old man. You're so small," or "You look funny," or "How come you like that?" And things like that. And it would be very disturbing to hear that as a child. But my parents took me there. They took me all over the place. I remember my dad, taking me fishing, taking me out. We would just do all sorts of stuff with our school and outside of school, and especially with my extended family. I have a very strong extended family base, and we would do picnics together in Ala Moana Park, and if not my parents, then my cousins or my uncles would grab me and take me places. And it was about this whole notion of being included in family, being included in the extended family, being included in society, in our community. And there was no place that I don't think I went. In fact, I remember a trip that we took to the mainland, and my dad literally had to wheel my manual chair over terrains that you would think would be like extreme sport today. We would go over a suspension bridge over 300 feet high over a ravine with a tiny little river at the bottom, and get stuck in the middle because somebody was running on this thing and they weren't supposed to, and it started to sway back and forth. And me going to Inspiration Point, and it's all gravel and there's no guardrails, and if you start sliding, you're dead meat, things like that. I mean, it was just phenomenal to know that I went to these places because my family said, hey, this Mark is part of our family, and wherever we go, he's going to go, no matter where it is. And they didn't let disability stop them. And that's kind of like what got me into this mindset that we as people with disabilities are real citizens in our country. We're not second-class citizens. We're the same with everybody else. We have some things that we can't do, but there are some things that even people who think they don't have disabilities can't do. So there's really no difference. There's no difference personally. There's no difference in terms of our status and our ability to participate fully in our communities.